We're excited today to have ETHLocal joining us. And this series is brought to you by the Glasgow University Engineering Tech Society, which I'm the president, in collaboration with the FinTech Society. So what we do at the Glasgow University Engineering Tech Society is just to bring technology closer to students, to bring professionals closer to students. So we run a series of events given by academics, so mostly professors who are researchers at the University of Glasgow, to talk about their research and see where our members can find areas of interest. We do the same thing with the industry. We bring members of the industry to talk about what they are working on and the exciting opportunities that students can get involved in. Membership is free, but we're also the official branch of the IEEE at the University of Glasgow, as well as the IET. So joining the society is free, but then you can go on to pay membership fee to join the professional organizations who are affiliated with. If you do want to join, we will be sharing links to our website towards the end of the talk. I'm going to let Shyam say a few words about his society. Shyam.
Thank you, Kanachi. As he mentioned, that we are bringing this Blockchain Technology Week series to you together. And today we welcome ETHLocal to talk about their project and art in blockchain, if I'm not mistaken. This is the final event of the Blockchain Technology Week, and thereafter you can see all the recorded videos which will be posted on Facebook. So a little bit about the FinTech Society. We are a society whose main goal is to build a community to encourage conversation about everything FinTech and to help you find opportunity in the corporate world. This year, our current leadership will change and we will have our AGM this Friday. So if you haven't, check it out. The application closed last midnight, I believe, but I'd encourage everyone to come and vote. So without further ado, I would like to kick off the event, or if anyone wants to say any more words, then please do so. Thank you for coming.
Okay, so we have Harry, Fanny, and Matteo from ETHLocal, and we're really shocked to have you guys here. And the floor is yours when you're ready.
Thank you. I think we'll pass over to Matteo to present the slides, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. I need permission to screen share, please.
You should have it now.
Yep. You seen?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so thank you for having us. ETHLocal is a project that started last year after the ETH Turin hackathon on Ethereum and sustainable projects that me and Fanny put together. It was the first hackathon during the pandemics. So I would like to dive into the NFT world, which I think is the hot topic right now, and I think it's important to give a few tech aspects behind it for anyone who wants to pitch design stuff on top of it. Okay. So the main question about NFTs is, how can digital content become unique? Well, we have tokens on Ethereum. Some of them are fungible, some of them are non-fungible. This is a difference between abundance and uniqueness. So by fungible tokens, we mean those tokens that represent digital currencies like Ethereum and other tokens built on top of Ethereum that represent equities of tech startups. And by fungible, we mean that each token has the same value of any other token, meaning like a £1 coin is always equal to another £1 coin, even if they are exchanged. The two people will result having always £1. And the use case for this kind of tokens, fungible tokens on Ethereum, are equities for startup in the tech world, governance power, meaning voting powers, or just utility tokens if your putting up a distributed, decentralized gaming DApp, for example. Non-fungible tokens, and here we come to NFTs in specifics, are tokens that have their own value, meaning, for example, I tend to relate to magic cards or Pokemon. So you know that Pokemon cards are mostly all the same to an outsider, but when you come into the game, one Pokemon card has a different value from another one. So you can basically ascribe the value of collectibles to these tokens, and they basically represent uniqueness, and they provide proof of originality and authentication to it. Again, use cases for these non-fungible token are crypto art. Fanny will go more in depth into it. Music releases, various kind of collectibles, game items, real estates, if we want to go a bit further. So this is how it works on traditional web, the web that everyone is using right now. And it's important to understand where the content is shared from and to, and where it's stored physically. So basically, we have our content, which can be sounds, videos, or images, and we give it to centralized platforms. In this case, I put Facebook and all the Facebook firma, which is Instagram and WhatsApp, etc., Spotify, Google, and of course TikTok. So this content goes into their own servers around the world, and there it's stored and made reproducible to wider audiences. So what you get from this centralized management of content is that you have free content from everyone and free space to upload. And of course, you can harness these algorithms for exposure to your network. You can also pay and buy some algorithmic power to get your content more out there. What you lose in this system is the ownership of your content and your content data. And you lose the freedom to basically craft your own content economies with your own network. You have to stand by the platform's rules to do that. You also lose proofs of originality because the content is on a private server. It's not on the public internet server. And that's basically what the pros and cons are. So basically, what you risk is that by having your content stored on centralized platforms, you risk censorship. First of all, if the platform abides to central authorities in case of dictatorships, limiting rules on free expression, you risk that the servers might burn and lose content, or you risk that your content might get stolen by hackers. This basically translates in the audiences not being able to retrieve that content anymore. On blockchain, which is also another word for Web3, the web that is coming, what happens when your content, when you upload your original content on the blockchain? In this case, we have a video. The video basically gets stored and hashed. So the birth certificate of the video is stored on a public network made of peers, of nodes that contribute to the computing power of the network. And they validate the origin, the timestamp of the content that you provided. And by doing this verification, they put it on a block in the blockchain. That all those blocks on top represent the blockchain, basically. Every block is created. Then in order to create the next block, the previous block is squeezed into a hash, which is a cryptographic proof. And that hash becomes the opening, the header of the next block. This is how the blockchain can always go back in time and say that was done back at the block number, whatever. Also, by this system, you you don't risk that your content might get stolen or burned, because you would need 51% of the whole world computing power in order to force something. So it's quite kind of more secure. This also gives us a new hint. It's what is money? So what is value? Money is a generally accepted, recognized, and verifiable medium of exchange in an economy that is used to facilitate transactional trade for goods and services. So basically, money and value is what we say has value. It's not what someone else says, centralized banking system or centralized authorities. This is also something that gave the start to all the local currencies. I know that in the UK you have the Brixton pound, which is something that was started, I think, in 2008, and now has been growing in popularity for local businesses. So you see, you can create your own money in various different ways, whether on paper money or digital money. And the blockchain also helps you do that. So what happens when you actually upload the original content on the blockchain? You gain ownership of content and data, and you get the freedom to decide your network's economics by means of putting down smart contracts with all the owners of that token. And also you earn proof of originality. What you lose on the blockchain, of course, is tools and spaces for free. So the blockchain is, we could define it as a sort of coin-operated world computer. Gmail gives you space and basically free emails, apparently for free, but in truth, they are looking at what you're sending. They're selling this data to data farms, etc. So it's not completely free. The blockchain needs coins, needs Ethereum in the case of Ethereum, Bitcoins in case of the Bitcoin blockchain, in order to deploy and operate smart contracts. And of course, for the time being, you lose the benefits given by algorithms of exposure. This is something purely temporary because Ethereum is growing up very, very fast, and you can harness, you will soon be able to harness oracles in order to go around the blockchain and retrieve important data and automate smart contracts. The flow that you usually have while interacting with the Ethereum blockchain, in our case, is the following. You have your own content, which can be text and sound, videos, images. You browse through the internet. So this is another point. Where is the blockchain? The blockchain is right there among your other tabs. You just have to go into a website that communicates with the blockchain, and there you are on the blockchain. How do you interact with that website? You need something which is called MetaMask. MetaMask is that orange fox on the browser icon, which is basically an extension that powers your browser to interact, to sign transactions and send tokens in a wider way, to interact with that decentralized app and communicate with the blockchain and read and write onto the blockchain. So to sum up, you can interact with the blockchain just by opening another tab, putting the right URL, and having MetaMask installed on your browser. What can you actually store on the blockchain? So we go a bit closer to what NFTs are all about. What you can store on the Ethereum blockchain itself is a very limited quantity of data. You cannot store images on the blockchain. I mean, you cannot store big images on the blockchain. You cannot store videos or MP3 for sure. Just to give you a ratio, I think that uploading maybe 4 megabytes or 5 megabytes on the Ethereum blockchain would cost you between 15 and 20 grand. So it's insane. So what you can do instead, you can upload hashes, which are strings of cryptographic identity to it. You can upload small files, addresses, and smart contracts, which are basically pieces of software that operate. The bigger chunks of files are to be uploaded on other decentralized storage systems like IPFS, which stands for Interplanetary File System. And we will see how that interacts with the Ethereum blockchain in order to create NFTs. So for example, we have Alice, who wants to upload a video. She browses onto a decentralized app, so-called DApp, that allows these NFT creation. What the DApp does is storing the video content onto IPFS. So having all the peers in the IPFS network pinning that content and saying, I have it, I have it, I have it. Okay, the content is available. Then they basically give back a hash to the DApp, who then writes a smart contract, which is the NFT, in this case, smart contract. And the IPFS hash is basically stored within the metadata of the NFT. And that contract that represents the NFT goes into the Ethereum blockchain, and there you have your NFT. So this is something to clear out. The content is not stored on the Ethereum blockchain, it is just hashed on the Ethereum blockchain. Again, a little bit of X-rays of what the NFTs are. So in order to have an NFTs, you need first to have a collection or or so-called factory smart contracts, which can be a ERC-721 collection or ERC-1155 collection. From a collection or factory, then you can deploy instances of this contract, which are NFTs. Basically, NFTs, what they need to be defined are name, a symbol, an amount, and if these NFTs are mintable or not, meaning you can always mint more, create more NFTs, or if you create a total supply, and that's it. And then you need the content metadata, which resolves in a very easy to do JSON file, which you upload on IPFS. And usually what you upload is a license of use of the NFT. That depends on the creator. You can give up royalties, you can allow commercial use of the content, up to you, really. And you upload also image, sounds, and animations. Talking about metadata, these metadata usually go on IPFS, Swarm, Filecoin, Arweave. These are all decentralized solutions for storage. Sometimes dApps like OpenSea, Rarible, they have like their own servers just to be sure that bigger content is still available for reproduction. So there's a mix of centralized and decentralized servers where the media are stored. And below, you can basically see what is the core of the NFT, which is a function that has an address, basically the owner of the NFT, the hash of the NFT, and the string memory, which points to metadata, which will point to the IPFS or local storage. How can you mint and sell NFTs? So if you want to do it your own way, you can look for NFT smart contracts on Google. Most likely you will find them on GitHub. And you can use the Remix IDE to test these contracts and deploy them directly onto the blockchain of Ethereum. Otherwise, you can use middle layers solutions like OpenSea, Rarible, Known Origin, and Super Rare that will give you a way easier experience, of course, a way easier and more fluid user experience. So this is what I had to say. I think it's time to pass the speech to Fanny.
All right. Yeah. So thanks, Matteo, for the explanation. This is pretty much now. I'm gonna focus on how you use NFTs for creative purposes, and we'll use a little bit of the art example to explain why it's actually very useful, and as my sweater say, the NFT revolution is now, and this is really the case for digital art. And there you might have heard of the use of NFTs for like physical art. I am not going to focus on that because it's another kind of worms. So, and I'm sure you've heard like a million different analogy for NFTs. It's like, you know, like it was like the blockchain. Now it's like a Google spreadsheet, but not owned by anyone, or so on and so forth. So the one that works for me that I'm going to share with you is that really it's a unique identifier for any digital file. And why it makes sense for art in that case is that it solves a lot of different problems that the art market and especially digital artists have struggled with for many, many years. So we've all seen the development of like digital copies on the web and pretty much the free use of like anything is free and available in unlimited quantities on the web, especially for images. And imagine a digital artist who is working with video, JPEG, GIF, any other file. There was really no way for them to have a market, because the first thing that you're looking for to assign value to a work of art is the limited edition or the scarcity more in general. And for that, you can see the difference between the original Mona Lisa or a poster of the Mona Lisa. Obviously not the same price. And this, when you don't have the physical painting like the Mona Lisa, which is the case for a digital artist, there was no way for them to say, this is the original and this is the copy that you can replicate for marketing purposes. With NFTs, it really does re-add the concept of scarcity and ownership of digital content. And something else that the art world has struggled with for many, many years or centuries is the problem of provenance and authenticity. And because everything is attached to the hash in terms of transaction history, that reports back to like the creator as well of the NFT, there is now a public like trail that never really existed in the art market. Another thing that really was not possible for fine artists before was the insurance to get royalties on secondary sales. So for example, when an artist sells a work to a collector for $5,000 or like $500, and then gets more popularity, and then his work or their work like is resold at auction for $5 million, well, the artist gets nothing. And a few countries in the world, like France and California, actually, like the state, have laws that ensure that, but anywhere else in the world, this is non-existent. So what the law pretty much failed at doing, the code now and via the blockchain actually allows to do. Thank you. So I'm sure you've heard a lot of like different like news, and I put on purpose the people like very, very much in the corner over there. I mean, we could do an hour on that Beeple sale. It brought a lot of mainstream like interest and a lot of new players, which is great, but also brought a lot of misinformation about what Metacoven actually purchased, and et cetera. So I'm going to pass on the debate around Beeple's work, but other auction houses have continued. Can we go back? Sorry. Have continued on selling crypto art, which is really a sign of like this Beeple wasn't a one-off. And Christie's announced that they're selling 9 of the nine very rare CryptoPunks in May, so that's as a second attempt to get into the crypto art space. There've been a lot of backlash because they're doing it on their website. So it's a very centralized platform. It's not visible who is actually like purchasing like or bidding on the work, etc. To which actually Sotheby's responding, and I do encourage you, like we don't have the time to get into it, but this is quite fascinating, and it's happening. It's closing at 2 p.m. today, like 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in New York, so probably 7 or 8 p.m. your time. They auctioned a series of work by PAK. He's actually they are design collective. Like he never speaks, or we don't know like if it's one person, a collective, like anything about PAK, but they've done a pretty great job at including the community. They're actually auctioning the works on Nifty Gateway, which is not the best decentralized platform, but at least it is a blockchain-based platform, etc. So this is, and the other work with the motel sign is Mad Dog John's, which work is actually an example of NFT 2.0, which is an intelligent programmable NFT that is being auctioned right now at Phillips Auction House, which is pretty much the third largest auction house after Christie's and Sotheby's. And it's a work that actually reproduces itself every 28 days, which is awesome, and really shows the opportunities. Like really, like reducing NFTs to a JPEG or a GIF is really a misunderstanding. Another use case, if you go to the next slide, that is very prominent are the collectibles. So of course everybody talked about CryptoKitties for many years, then CryptoPunks, but there are now like other things, like the car is Crypto Motors, like the pizza is like Rare Pizza, and each of these project is quite intellectually interesting actually. Like they're a little like silly looking, but they do have a lot of thinking behind, like from the price being tied to a bonding curve to different ways the drop is done, or like giveaways. I mean, this is kind of, you can pretty much get lost in what is happening. And for example, today there is this thing called Artvatars, and this is like collaborations between crypto artists to do avatars on Polygon, so Matic blockchain. And it's a major drop of 20,000 NFTs, but it's going to be gone in 5 minutes. And then the gaming industry, like with like soccer, like this company called Sorare in France, which is doing NFTs as like cards, but also fantasy soccer. And the Sandbox is another voxel platform where you can design your own games and your characters for the game, and also sell them on their platform. If you go to the next. So just a few examples, like I'm gonna pass, like I'm sure we're running out of time, but there are a few examples here of the use of NFTs by artists. The portrait with the lines and the white background is by a generative artist. There are a lot of artists working with AI who are in the NFT art space. This one is Hespen Klug. And he does this very poetic, weirdly portraits generated with a GAN. The middle photograph is a photographer. That's also there are a lot of photographers and embracing the NFT format because they already work a lot in digital. And then on the right, it's Hakatao, which is one of the highest selling artists, of course, after Beeple and Pack and the like, but that really just started doing art with NFT. If you go to the next. There are a lot of also the very hot topic is collaborations, and I think we're entering the moment where people are realizing that NFTs is an empty shell where you can really and the unique identifier can be tied to any type of file. Like Matteo explained that the file is actually stored off-chain most of the time because of the actual size of the file. But there are a lot of use cases right now for musicians. You probably heard of Kings of Leon and a few other, like Blau is a DJ who is also very successful. And they do partner with artists to do some visual work with a piece of music that is exclusive, that can only be unlocked by the owner sometimes. I mean, the possibilities are literally endless for fandoms, and you'll see a lot more marketplaces appear for very specific use cases: gaming, music, sports, anything. So these are two examples here. Next one. All right, so so we're pretty much it's almost like NFT is NFT for creative is old news, almost at this point in crypto times. It goes very fast, and what we're currently seeing is the NFT 2.0 that are more intelligent, programmable, using AI, which I mentioned with the replicable one that is being sold at Philips right now. So it's a new wave of more intelligent NFTs, if you want. There are also a lot of derivative products, a lot of DeFi and NFT projects. So a lot of projects are trying to increase the liquidity of NFTs, to do liquidity pools, derivative products like NFT-backed lending, insurance, etc., etc. And all of that really, all of these NFTs, which could really be anything, even land in a metaverse, like I have on the bottom of the screen, all these NFTs are to be used in what they call metaverse. And these are the digital worlds where there's currently a gold rush to actually get land to build and use NFTs. So it's really the beginning, and yeah, it's a good time to pay attention to what's next. I think that's all. New trends. I think new trends we can pass. There's a lot more to talk about. But
this is just a slide to say that NFTs usually are uniqueness. What is happening right now is that there's a trend towards NFTs that are actually liquid and provide these ERC20 extensions, so to be used both in a fungible and non-fungible way. And one thing is the item standard, which is now being released. And the word goes to Harry, who will talk about our project, ETHLocal.
Thank you, Matteo. So yes, so ETHLocal is a decentralized flexible organization with 10 million local voting tokens. It was founded at DFO Hub, and the specific DFO structure setup allows ETHLocal to have all the basic features of a DAO without the constraints of a single ownership. So it allows for modular microservices to be applied to its governance system by direct implementation, as well as importing from other DFOs. In addition to this, ETHLocal assists with operations and funding with projects with a local scope, and we launched tech residencies for the Ethereum community, as well as developing a network of minimum viable products to iterate upon and assist with Ethereum events in general. Are we on the next slide, Matteo? Thank you. So these are our residencies, really quickly, of which we have 6. So the first and the most local one being with Creative Informatics, Edinburgh University. The second being Stoneman House, which is in Rora, Italy. And the other 2 in Italy being Ostana, which is based in Piedmont, really close by, and Liminal Village, further down south. And finally, Akasha Hub, which is based in Barcelona. I'd recommend to check out ethlocal.co for all of these, because they're absolutely beautiful, each and every one. And next slide, please, Matteo. Okay, so our proposal for our first round is that we have allocated 6 developer positions, which we've known as Pilgrims. So what is a Pilgrim? It's a nomadic developer with and a designer as well, with the desire to travel with Ethereum. And we connect them with what are known as citadels, which are our metaphor for the locations based in Europe and our general partners. And so what citadels do is provide accommodation and facilitate pilgrims with their Ethereum-based solutions. And in exchange for these Ethereum-based solutions, citadels reward pilgrims with what are skins and magical items that boost their status within our program. So what are these magical items? Next slide, please, Matteo. These are our magical tokens. They are ETHLocal NFT stamps. So each stamp is allocated, is an allocated token, which can be used in exchange for an item from each citadel. These items can be anything, and we're yet to decide their proper use cases, but we're limiting additions to 5. And such use cases can be for accommodation, uses of facilities and presenting Ethereum-based solutions, or even exclusivities from each residency. So for example, with Stoneman House, you could get a tour around Rora. And due to the current limitations on travel, we've adjusted the tokenization method of ETHLocal just ever so slightly. So the prospective owners of our NFTs will instead receive unlockable content from our Citadel residencies, which automatically makes them pilgrims on acquisition, and they contribute royalties to the ETHLocal DFO. The revenue and royalties from primary and secondary sales will then be split between ETHLocal and its citadels, from which citadels can stake their amount in currency, or they can ask for governance local tokens. So all of these elements, so the Pilgrim, the Citadel, and our NFT stamps, emulate a role-playing game, from which is made possible through decentralized finance within our decentralized flexible organization on the blockchain. And I think that's it. Thanks for listening. Yeah, we are an international team, and we are happy to take any questions that you might have.
And I wanted to add something to what Harry said. I think the important thing to remember, especially after seeing the use cases for art, for music, etc., like the NFTs can really be used for anything, and this is where even for real use cases, with helping residencies, but helping charities, raising money, crowdfunding. I mean, this is really unlimited. And as we started with helping grassroots and local projects with Easterin last year with Matteo, this was a very obvious next step to use NFTs for similar purposes. So yeah, we hope you're interested and even join us if you want to be part of the fun.
Thank you, guys. That was a really wonderful presentation, and I am particularly keen to see some of the applications. I come from Nigeria, and it's a place where people are always dealing with digital copyright issues and piracy. So I can immediately see somewhere that NFT can come in. So I'm going to hand over to Jeremy to take over the questions. Do you have any questions, Jeremy?
No, we don't have any questions on the chat, nowhere. So I think the presentation was very good and self-explanatory. So
Yeah.
I think Shyam might want to say a couple of words.
Well, talking about Nigeria, like you have one of the most famous, one of the very famous crypto artists is Osinachi.
Osinachi, yeah.
He's quite adamant also about bringing more use cases for NFTs in Africa. So and knowing him, it's definitely going to happen.
I think so. Nigeria also has a lot of interest in cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. Okay. So Shyam, do you have any final remarks?
Yes. Thank you guys from ETHLocal for coming today. I really enjoyed this presentation, especially as a cap for the Blockchain Technology Week. It was nice. It was refreshing to see something else in the application of blockchain than technical stuff. It's really nice to see that it's being applied to the world of art and not just finance and how to make technology work in a safer method and all of the usual suspects. So thank you for that. Is there anything you'd like us to share in the follow-up of this event?
Not immediately, no. Again, we just like to reciprocate that warmth. Just thank you for having us. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah,
you can follow us. You can maybe just follow us on Twitter and maybe subscribe to our newsletter. And if you feel like participating in our program, just reach out. And what we are trying to do is connecting grassroots communities to crypto. So if you have any ideas, we are working on that and trying to, push also some finances into development of good projects. So.
And what's the best way to reach you guys?
ETHLocal.co.
Okay. All right.
We're everywhere. Like you can, you see our name on Twitter and everything. So it's
yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Well, thanks for having us. And do you do a clap for like closing the week? Like,
I think we should do that.
I know. Like,
yeah.
All right. Well.